This is KSB with Tape, and today you join me for episode 3 of Project Duna. And today I'm actually landing stuff on the surface. What you're seeing is me just refueling some monopropellant on the thing, so I can just have a little bit on the Rover thing, so I can have a little more translation while landing. And that's decoupled and spinning weirdly, but under control-ish. So I'm just decoupling the docking port, because I won't need that. And you can see there's a little engine and fuel tank on the bottom, which is just for deorbiting and slowing down the descent, and it has 6 parachutes for actually landing, which will suffice. So I've picked a landing spot, as you may have just seen, well, you will see in a second, and I'm going to land the Rover first because it has the least ability to move and land precisely, because I can't use the landing stage all the way. Anyway, so that's where I'm going to land, as you can see. But the landers with the guys, there's 2 landers, and 4 guys will go down. They can move around quite a lot, which is good, because I'm not very precise at landing. Anyway, we're just drifting over the surface, and even at the low resolution, well, not the low res, the low quality I run this at with my recorder, because my recorder's quite processor heavy right now, which I will hopefully be fixing so I can have better stuff and better frame rates. But anyway, what I was going to say is Duna looks really amazing now, because they have upgraded it, and I just think it looks like a planet rather than just some random stuff on a thing, a random video game. And you can see the atmosphere looks great, and we are quite deep in the atmosphere, and I haven't started slowing down, but oh yeah, now I'm just checking the res because I'm still getting pretty crappy frame rates. They do improve, don't worry. And it's just taking a little time. I probably should have cut that, I'm sorry, but that's fine. It's a 4 times time accelerate, so it shouldn't be so bad. Taking a quick drink so that I don't just start dying. Anyway, I'm slowing down quite nicely. There goes the chutes, and I still want to slow down because I'm not quite sure, because it's the first time I've landed something on Duna in a while, and I'm not really fully sure about the atmospheric density. And I've never landed a Rover on chutes alone, because that does have to ditch the fuel stage, and I can't use that all the way to the ground anyway. And there go the chutes, and it rips that off anyway, and it's sent this Rover into a spin, so I try to control it so that I can land it without smashing up the probe and the equipment, because that'd be really bad. Anyway, that's coming quite nicely and fairly slow, because it does have 6 chutes, and there are decouplers so I can get rid of those chutes when I have landed. And we are coming in, and that's nice. That's down, that's good. Put the brakes on, stop it rolling around, and decouple them. Those exploded, good, always good. And test its drivability, that works. It's the other way. Yeah, that's the problem. The braking really screws it up, as I learn, but you won't see. Yeah, I crashed a little bit, but everything's fine. So let's move the people into the first lander. This is Jebediah Kerman, I think, because you can't have a mission and not take Jeb to the surface. Okay, physics just threw him off my ship. We have a man off ship. We have a man off astronaut off structure. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but that would be the thing. But he's fine, because he has 500 Delta V pack. Anyway, now we're sending a random guy. So the plan is, with the people, is to send Jeb to the surface of Duna with his accompanying crew, leave, I think, maybe Bill at the helm of the ship to maintain command, and send Bob out to Ike. Now, the plan for Ike will be in next episode. But, well, no, going to Ike will be in the next episode. But the plan is to attach it to the return from surface craft, because the actual land doesn't have quite enough Delta V to get all the way out to Ike and back. And I would have put it on the actual return to Kerbal craft, because it has a nuclear engine, but the docking port's are the wrong size, so I'm probably going to waste a lot of fuel, but I've got quite a bit. Anyway, I have decoupled the first lander, and I'm moving into position right now. Just kind of go around the back end of the planet so that I can come in just above it, and that looks okay. It looks okay, we'll see how that goes. And we're just burning down fairly quickly. Well, it was fairly quick anyway, but especially at 4 times. Take another drink, and everything's fine. So we're going to want it slightly in front of the rover, because Duna will rotate, and I will be slowed down by the atmosphere. And as you can already see, it was not enough, because it's gone way past, which I kind of don't fix that much. But anyway, so I'll burn upwards to stop myself coming down so fast, and then just basically adjusting, and I just did a slight inclination change to come down actually near the Rover. But luckily the Rover is in fact a Rover, so it can drive a long way, and this has tons of fuel, which maybe I should have left some on the ship, because I may need more on the ship for the Ike thing, and I won't need much for coming home, so it's fine. But what was I going to say? Summon about summon. Oh yeah, so I've got enough fuel to move around with the ship anyway. And there the atmosphere is really slowing me down a lot more than I thought it would. So I'm actually burning forwards before my chutes go so that I can... There they go. But I was just trying to get as close to the lander as possible. And you can see I am way off. And I don't want to drive that distance, partly because the lander, even though it has... Not the lander, the Rover, even though it has good wheels, the kind of medium size, and has infinite power and can do a whole bunch of stuff, it is kind of difficult to drive on the surface of Duna, as I discover, because it is so bumpy, especially now. So I'm going to fly all the way over. Right, so that's us down, and then I'm thinking I should probably fly off once. Yeah, so sorry, there's a little blip there. I had to go do a thing, but I'm back, and now I'm flying to my other lander. No, to the Rover, so I can be closer to that. So I've targeted it so I can, get better at doing the. So I can get a better idea of where it is, because it is 50 kilometers away. So I was not going to drive 50 kilometers, and you probably didn't want to see that, or maybe you did. But then. But there are, anyway, I'm flying across the surface, but I decide if I go higher, it'll be, I just get there with a lot less fuel, as you can see. So obviously I overshoot a little bit to counter the slowing down of the atmosphere. And that's looking actually pretty good. And I have repacked the chutes. I'm not sure if I didn't actually catch that. It was probably in there, I'm not sure. I had to cut some stuff out. There may have been a blip. The recorder was basically doing the thing it usually does in being terrible. But anyway, we're coming down, and about 7 kilometers away, and it looks like we're going to land actually right next to it, or at least there, or thereabouts, so that I can just drive over a little bit. So yeah, I deployed the chutes one by one, because that can't possibly go wrong, and it does slow us down a bit, but not enough to stop us smashing up, as you might see when I land the second Rover. Lander. No, you will see it, it goes horribly. But it is interesting to watch. And now I've switched to the Rover, and the parachute just exploded over there. Alright, that makes sense. Oh, and I've got to switch the steering round. Oh no, I'm turning off the steering on the back wheels, because you only really want 2-wheel steering in a big thing like this. But you can see it's handling the terrain quite well. But it's better uphill than it is downhill, because uphills, well, you can see there it wasn't brilliantly forgiving, but yeah. And when you brake, it has the tendencies to kind of do an endo. But anyway, we're getting close to it now, everything's fine, and braking is weirdly fine. I thought that would do a big-ass endo, but everything's fine. It's fine, everything's fine. Shh. Anyway, now we're back at the ship around Duna, and I'm going to bring the other one over. And wait, my build, what? What did I just do there? Oh yeah, I'm not bringing Bill coming to the surface of Duna. He's staying in the helm, maybe, I don't know, or going to Ike. Either Bill or Bob's going to Ike. So I'd bring in another couple of red shirts, for red shirts is just Star Trek reference if you don't watch Star Trek. Not a massive Trekkie, but these guys would be the red shirts, and Bill, Bob, and Jeb would be the Command Gold or some stupid, I don't know. I know, I don't pay that much attention to films. That's a lie, I love films. But anyway, let's stop talking about me. And, oh yeah, now I'm checking which of the, Bill or Bob is best to stay at the helm, and which should be courageous enough to go to Ike. And I just think I decide that Bill should go to Ike, but then I get him out first and can't be bothered, so he stays at the helm. That's how I select things, by, whoever gets out first. Basically, which of you wants to go die on a moon? Not whoever wants to live and not die on a moon, just really quickly get out to the command pod. So they had a little fight, and Bob gets to go risk his life. That should be fun. No, he'll be fine. The lander's pretty good. He'll be fine, maybe. That sounded like too much of a question for me to have been sure. But anyway, I am going to get into position, obviously. Because if I don't, then I don't get to the lander. I just land in a random place on Duna, and then I'm trapped there. Because if they were completely far apart, I can't send these vehicles on capable of returning, and the vehicle that is capable of landing and returning on Duna. There's only one of them, and I only get one shot because I don't have the fuel to go twice. So on that happy note, we're bringing the periapsis down to quite far in front, so that I land nearer the thing, but not perfectly near, as you shall see. This landing is a little not smooth. Anyway, I'm making a quick inclination change so that I land much nearer the other lander and the rover. And as you can see, my screen is tearing up. There's just lots of white pixels where it's not loading in because the screen recorder and this running at the same time isn't a great mix, which kind of sucks. I've got to get a better screen recorder. But anyway, we're coming in a little high, so I start trying to slow myself down. Way too late, and there go the chutes, and I'm full engineing it, and still not slowing myself down in time. But as I did last time, I'll be able to just fly across the surface all the way, and everything will be absolutely fine, and nothing can possibly go wrong with this whole landing situation. So let's just watch this come to the surface quite nicely. There go the chutes, everything's fine, still going in quite fast, but I can burn the engines and slow things down. And bang! And yeah, I kind of fell over, and then tried to control it with the engines. That didn't work, and I lost some RCS, and I lost an RCS tank and a radiothermal generator. But I have another RCS tank and another radiothermal generator, so everything's fine. And that fucks up, and that fucks up. And then I roll into the right position and just burn, so I get in the air. So I'm setting my target over there, but holy crap, there's no parachutes. I won't be able to land properly. I'm gonna have to solve that in the air. So I'm flying over, trying to get as high as possible, because if I'm high, then I won't know what's happening. No, I meant high in the atmosphere, not high in okay, so anyway, I've got him out there, but I accidentally deployed a chute, so that's gone nuts, and I've been flung from the lander. So I've now got to fly back in before we hit the surface. and I don't have time to put the other chute back in, so we have one chute to land on, and that's on the side, so this is not going great. Anyway, so we're coming down, and I'm burning back the other way because I've gone way too far, because I was going to correct it, but then I wasn't in the ship to correct it. And I didn't want to let that guy die on the surface, and at one time it was a lot more stressful and a lot cooler, but I left it at 4 times to keep the video length down. But yeah, that was all horrifying. And there goes the chute, the singular chute, and I'm trying to maintain my attitude. Wait, no, something. And then I fall over again when I land again, so I just use the landing legs to flip myself back up, and everything is absolutely fine, and there are 0 problems. Anyway, I've put the other 2 from the successful landing in the buggy, and I'm switching off the steering on the back and switching it on the front, because the directional control switches round when people are in the seat than when I'm just using the probe. Right, so let's just head over and make sure they're okay. And you can see it is a wonderful daytime on Duna, because that last landing was at night, but it's fine. It looked, well, it didn't look too dark from where I'm seeing. And, I mean, YouTube does darken it, but it is usually fine. And you can see that I almost instantly flipped the rover, because this is a really unforgiving surface. And a weirdly unforgiving rover. It was fine on Kerbal. It's because it's lower gravity. The worst thing is driving on the moon. Like Kerbal's moon, it's horrifying to drive on. It's nice driving on like Eve and actually Lade's pretty good because it has a pretty thick atmosphere, thick oxygen atmosphere, and it has higher gravity than Duna, apparently. I think. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. I think it does, because it's orbiting a gas giant. It's huge. I think it's actually trying to, in like the real world, it's the equivalent of Titan, maybe? Because I'm not entirely sure, that might just be a lie, I heard that somewhere. but a Titan's moon that orbits Jupiter and has atmosphere and things, and might have, I'm not sure, one of the moons orbiting Jupiter might have liquid tidal water under its ice because of Jupiter's massive gravity could make it tidal. So yeah, that could be pretty interesting. We go live there. Everything's nice and living on other moons. That's actually a pretty good. Wait, has my recording thing been running really slowly? I'm just thinking. Oh, it just looks like it might have. Everything's probably fine. I'm not sure that it is. No, it'll be fine. I just for a second there I thought that my my editor had been playing slower, so that I'd maybe recorded things I couldn't use because of how because I would be recording way too much, but it's fine, hopefully. Anyway, so I'll stop talking about how terrible all of my software is and talk about how we're driving towards something on a red planet. That's one of the problems about Duna, is it is really cool, and I mean, I've just realised I didn't turn terrain scatter on. There should be rocks everywhere. That'll make it slightly more interesting. Yeah, terrain scatter's off for some reason. Maybe because it's because I reinstalled the game and it's automatically off. That sucks. Because right now it's just kind of a red desert. So there's no terrain scatter, which that would have made this slightly better. I'll turn it on for next time. I promise, so that when I'm on Ike and Duna next time, there will be rocks, and it will look a lot better. Because as good as it does look on low res with no rocks, it's not so very good. Well, no, it's good, it's just not great. But anyway, we're getting pretty close to the lander, just kind of a brief, nice drive over there so that we can just make sure they're okay and make them feel less kind of forgotten about after they crashed and no one really did anything and they had to save themselves. But I mean, this hasn't been a particularly smooth mission, but I'd say it's been a successful mission. Within reason-ish. Alright, so that's us in. Oh no, they're still drifting in a little bit. And break and get one of the Kerbals out. Get what's his name out. The one on the right. That's not Jeb, is it? That's no, that's Ribfell or something. I've just realised my mouse isn't actually on the video. My new recorder doesn't record the mouse unless I tell it to. Odd. I should really probably learn how to use the software first. Anyway, let's just stroll over to the lander and see how everyone is. Hopefully not dead, because that'd be really bad. Although I can't see them dying, given that last time we saw them they were perfectly fine. I'm not so very good at the logic. Anyway, so run over. Why doesn't this look like it's at 4 times time accelerate? This really doesn't look like it's at 4 times time accelerate. It probably is. It's just my screen's going weird. I'm sure, God, I'm really paranoid now that I've screwed up this whole, well, no, my computer screwed up this whole thing. Anyway, so he knows that there are people in there and everything's fine. And yeah, so now we're back at the ship and just putting all the RCS back in the other ship, so that we're just kind of refueling things, getting RCS balanced, so that it will be ready for the Ike mission, because that will be the next episode. I'm moving, maybe Bob Kerman or Bill Kerman. I'm moving one of the commanders over to the pod, to the lander, and that'll be good. So in the next episode, I will dock that to the ship, kind of. Yeah, I don't have a mouse, and this is postcom, but I'll dock it to the ship underneath it, and we'll fly out to Ike and do lots of fun landing and flying around. I've also put quite a bit of the spare fuel in the return craft, so that I can use all of the fuel now in the main ship for landing and returning from the surface of Duna and going to Ike. Anyway, that'll be a whole bunch of fun. If you like the video, please like the video. If you don't get too tired of my ramblings. If you want to see more of this and other things, please subscribe. This has been KSP with Tape. I will see